Manuka honey and Mafura oil intense hydration hair mask. Hey kings and queens, welcome back to a new video. If you are new here, oh my god, I'm so excited that you've joined us because that means you want to be a part of the natural hair crew. Natural hair crew, you know, the kinks, the coilies, the queens and kings that rock their natural hair. So this video is going to be geared towards people who are just starting their natural hair journey and learning about natural hair. But don't worry if you already have started your natural hair journey. Don't worry, because I'm gonna be throwing some tips that you might not have even known. For me personally, I went natural back in like 2012, and y'all, let me tell you, when I went natural back in 2012, your girl was a hot and not like the cute hot mess. I was out here rocking, you know, my transitioning hair long time. So I really hope you guys appreciate these tips, because all of the tips I'm going to be giving you guys today is coming from a long time of experiences and a lot of mistakes. But before I give you guys all my tips, you know, give you the tea about natural hair, how to start, where to start, what products, the juice, the juice? Wait. Before I give you guys all of that, make sure you please subscribe down below. It really helps me out, and there's plenty more content that I'm sure you guys will enjoy. Support a girl, please. I'm broke. Do it. By the way, make sure you guys stay to the end of the video so I can show you guys all the wonderful products that you can start on your journey right now that don't cost as much as you think. Now that you've joined the Beauty family, let's get started. When you start your natural hair journey, there's a lot of paths since everyone's hair is different, but usually when you're starting your curly hair journey, you're usually going to go in one of two ways. You're either going to be in a transitioning stage or a big chop. Transitioning stage is when you have a lot of, say, heat damage, perm damage, and you let your roots grow out without cutting off the damaged hair until maybe a while. And then the big chop is just pretty much starting with all of the dead end hair if you haven't already grew out maybe your natural roots. Most people tend to go towards the transitioning route, I feel, because it allows you to grow out your hair while still keeping that length. But one thing about that is those dead ends or heat damaged ends at the end are going to continue to weigh down your hair, and you're never going to see the true curl pattern that you're going to have as opposed to if you big chop. Personally, I did the transitioning phase for a long time, and I did so long that I didn't even know I had curls. My curls were so stretched out, I almost had like a 3A kind of texture, and so as that grew out, the curlier and curlier my hair got. So depending on whether you're like a length person or you ready to start your natural hair and start working with it, you do a big chop. It kind of depends either way. So now that you've chosen your path, either big chop or transitioning, this is the time to start learning about your hair. There's so many things that you can learn about it, from what kind of texture you have to what type of porosity. And porosity is probably the #1 thing that you can learn about your hair to help figure out not only what products will work for your hair, but also what methods to use on your hair. When researching porosity and texture, you'll usually learn about what kind of method to use, either the LOC or the LCO. So now that you've learned a little bit more about your hair, what kind of porosity, what kind of texture you have, that's when you can really start to jump into your regimen. So when you're first getting into your regimen, the best way I would say to start is to pick a YouTuber that has similar hair texture and porosity, if you know their hair porosity as well, and kind of just study their regimen. Obviously products they use aren't going to work the same for you, but it's always a good start to follow someone with your similar hair texture. And if you have a similar hair texture to mine, then you can check out my natural curly hair routine. When you're in your new regimen, really take note of what your hair is trying to tell you. If you know that notice that your hair is dry, then try and deep condition a little more. Deep conditioning is where you're going to get most of your moisture from, so make sure you're incorporating that once a week, and if you can't do that, make sure you're doing it at least once a month. I'm telling you guys, deep conditioning is going to be where you're saving your hair. If your ends are really starting to break off, maybe chop off some of those dead ends. Really just tune into your hair and listen for what it's trying to tell you. To me, this is the funnest part because this is when you can go out and buy new curly hair products. I don't know why, but I just love going. I find so much joy in just going out and finding new hair products, searching for them. But just know that if you don't have money like that, you don't need a whole bunch of products. Just start with these basic ones and just build off of those. Figure out which ones work for your hair and which ones don't. So the first thing on your list when you're shopping you should probably go out and buy is a new shampoo. If you look at the list of ingredients that you have in your shampoo right now, you're probably always see sulfate, and if you don't see sulfate exactly, just look for those words that end in an 8. Those are probably sulfates as well. Now these are dangerous to your hair because they like to strip the oils that are in your scalp. When you're constantly stripping your hair of the oils that it needs, that's when your hair just gets dry and tends to break off. Along with your sulfate free shampoo, you'll need a really good conditioner. With conditioners, you should probably avoid parabens and silicones. Silicones are bad for your hair because they tend to stay in your hair even after washing it and avoid the moisture to actually penetrate your hair strands. Now most people think that conditioner and deep conditioner are the same, but actually they're different. So the deep conditioner, it just has pretty much just a fancier conditioner. Regular conditioner, you just kind of leave it in your hair and it rinses out. Deep conditioner really gets in your hair and penetrates even deeper to get moisture in. So if anything, if you can't get a new shampoo and conditioner, make sure you invest in your deep conditioner. Your deep conditioner is literally going to be the thing that brings your hair to just a whole nother level. When you're looking for a styling cream, I know there's so many out there, so a good thumb rule I've always learned is that the best products to look for would be thicker hair products. Usually if your hair is thicker, then it would tend to need a heavier product to kind of sit on the hair and make sure it penetrates the hair shafts. But that's not always the case. So that's a good way to start, but it's not always going to be correct for everyone. Now, along with your styling gel, you're going to need to find an oil to lock in that moisture. Just like styling products, there's a bunch of oils out there. Coconut oil, argan oil, avocado oil. I can't name them right now, but there's tons of oils out there. Some people also use gels in their hair. Personally, when I started, I didn't go for gels because a lot of them tend to dry out your hair. But if you are going to use a gel, just make sure you avoid those silicones and parabens because those can be found in those as well. If you are part of the natural hair crew, I'm not trying to preach to the choir, but for my girls that don't know and you're just starting your journey, heat, perms, or any kind of chemicals are the things that are going to kill your curves. You need to mark them your #1 enemy. You're going to realize that once you stop putting the chemicals and heat on your hair, you're going to really find out what your true texture of hair is. Even if you use a little over time, that heat is slowly going to damage your curls and you're never going to know what your real texture is. Now let's talk about styling your hair. Now looking into the different styles for your hair is where it gets fun. Usually if you're transitioning or big chopping or just starting out in general, it's good to start with protective styles just to help your new hair get used to being out and in its natural state. So protective styles can be things like braids, twist outs, even things like wearing weaves. Protective styles is any kind of style where your ends aren't being exposed and are being tucked, because anything, like I said, that's rubbing against cotton, even if your hair is shoulder length, is bad for your hair. The best and probably hardest part about curly hair, for me personally, I found that braid outs were especially helpful for helping me transition my hair, because when you're incorporating those dead ends with your new curly ends, the line of demarcation really shows through unless all of your hair is styled in one way. So those styles really help. When you're going to bed at night, an important thing to remember is that you're protecting your ends and your hair in general. Curly hair likes to rub against material, so at night you need to be wrapping your hair with a satin scarf, or some people say silicone pillowcase, but if you're like me, you sleep real wild and you don't even sleep on the pillow most of the time. So another alternative is the bonnet, which is personally my favorite. To be honest, I make sure I'm not playing around when I sleep at night. I'll honestly double up, wrap a silk scarf around my head, and also get my bonnet just to make sure that my hair isn't going to be rubbing against any cotton at night. Now, another good thing to do if you really want to focus on your hair health in general is at night make sure you are massaging your scalp. This is what's going to help promote growth, and if you're massaging your scalp, make sure you're using an oil that's not too thick and will clog your pores. Now my last piece of advice before I get into what products I use is to love your hair, don't compare. It's easy to compare your hair to natural hair influencers. You might even be comparing your hair to mine, but you have to realize everyone has their own hair. Everyone is on their own journey. Whether you have short hair, long hair, coily hair, kinky hair, it's all beautiful and you guys are doing a great job. It's so hard to stick with natural hair when you're first trying it out because your hair is just getting used to this journey and it's not gonna look as it will say down the line. Now, my favorite part, let's get into products that I use. So for me personally, if I'm gonna shampoo my hair and condition it, the line that I usually stick to is the Shea Moisture. Oh god, I have to say these names. Y'all know I suck at saying these names, so do not come for me. Is the Shea Moisture Manuka Honey and Mafura Oil Intense Hydration Hair Mask. I did it. I can't believe I actually said it in one go. Okay, so for these, I honestly have a subscription of these because this is one of my favorite hair masks. I have this sent to my house every month, not only to remind me to be deep conditioning every week, but also just because so that I never run out of this. I'm usually using the Shea Moisture Black Castor Oil collection for shampoo and conditioner, and then using this one as well. For my stylers, it usually depends on what kind of style I'm trying to go for. If I'm doing a leave out, I usually go with a heavier product, like my all-time favorite Cantu Shea Butter Leave-In Conditioning Repair Cream. The argan oil is actually my favorite of this brand, and it's really cheap too, and you can find this pretty much everywhere. One that I've just gotten into but is a little more on the pricier side is the Mielle products. Their leave-in conditioners that I've tried so far have been really moisturizing, but they do kind of, at least this one runs on the thin side, so if you have maybe a looser hair texture, this might be good for you. For my oil, I usually stick to my OG coconut oil hair conditioner. This oil is really thick, so if I do use this, I'm really light on it, or at least I try to be. Another good oil to use instead of that would be shea butter oil, or for my scalp, however, I do tend to use Jamaican black castor oil if I'm massaging my roots at night to help kind of promote growth. For me personally, when I started my curly hair journey, there was not a lot of support coming from my parents or my peers because, like I said before, natural hair just wasn't in at the time. So I want you guys to realize that while natural hair is going to be a long process, it's going to be so rewarding at the end. It's going to be a journey where you're going to learn to love your hair and the curls, and just even learn more about yourself in the process. You got to realize your hair pretty much owns a day of the week just trying to get this to be manageable. But soon you'll realize that even though it takes a lot of work, I'm telling you guys, and you guys obviously seen it from other curly girls all around, that the reward is going to be so beautiful and you're going to love your hair. If you are curious where I got all of my products, if you're curious where I get all of these products, make sure to check the link down below, and I'll put even more products than what you just saw here. If you're curious of where I got any of the products that I showed, make sure to check the description box down below, and while you're down there, don't forget to subscribe again. Thank you so much for staying to the end of this video. If you guys have any more comments or concerns or questions about anything, go ahead and put it down in the comments below. I'll be sure to answer you guys. And again, if you haven't already, make sure you subscribe to my channel and join the Beauty family. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys on the next video. Bye!